Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. We're going to talk about The Witcher being dead on arrival. Netflix has killed this series right out of the damn gate. It's a masterclass, as they said here on BGR, a masterclass in how to completely destroy a franchise in record time. I think, in fact, Netflix has destroyed the potential of The Witcher faster than Disney has destroyed Star Wars. Unfreaking believable. We're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, guys. Over 283, almost 284,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you guys are enjoying your holiday season. You know, I'm enjoying my holiday season a lot more because I'm not watching this disaster of a prequel on Netflix. So I got to disclaim it right out of the gate. I have no desire to watch this garbage tier show. And it sounds like a garbage tier show. This is Netflix's Witcher Origin prequel. What the hell is it even called? Witcher Blood Origin. Witcher Blood Origin. That's it. Yeah. So this is a show that has absolutely nothing going for it, from what I can understand. The production values, the acting, the writing, everything is garbage. And this is a pretty good indicator of what The Witcher is going to be like without Henry Cavill. We're going to talk about Henry Cavill. But nobody is defending the show that I can see. They're trying to defend the showrunners of the Witcher main series, Lauren Hissrich and friends, because that showrunner of X-Men 97 came out and said that he was part of the Witcher writers' room, and that the people working in the writers' room actively hated The Witcher. They hated the source material, they hated the books, they hated the games. And then we had Henry Cavill leave under mysterious circumstances. I don't think he's commented on why he left. If it was financial, you'd think that they would come out and say, hey, we couldn't work something out, for season 4. The running theory is that Henry Cavill was so disgusted by how they were handling The Witcher and the direction they were taking the show in that he just rage quit the show. He noped out. Maybe his contract was due or whatever. He's like, I'm not going to work on this anymore. I'm going to go work on Warhammer for Amazon. And I hope that goes better for him. It's Warhammer at Amazon. But, then we have the smear campaign already firing up Reddit. There are some rumors on Reddit that Henry Cavill was difficult to work with, that he was critiquing the showrunners, Lauren Hissrich and friends, and trying to lecture them, mansplain to them how The Witcher worked, and they didn't appreciate it, and they were butting heads. But if this is any indication of what happens when you let these people run completely unchecked, then Netflix needs to fire them and start over if they want to save this franchise. I mean, look at how well Cyberpunk 2077 turned out, and then look at this shit. I mean, this should have been a legit competitor to Game of Thrones. It should have been a legit competitor. Easily could have destroyed Lord of the Rings. And it's dead on arrival. The Witcher's dead on arrival. So this is coming from BGR. What the heck is this? Fans are ripping Netflix's Witcher prequel to shreds. They talk about how there was a lot of hope when they cast Henry Cavill initially, and everybody was like, wow, this is going to be a Game of Thrones-sized hit. They said, unfortunately, what happened since The Witcher's well-received first season, including a yawn of a sophomore season, the announcement of Cavill's departure, and the debut on Christmas Day of a roundly panned Cavill-less prequel series, has been nothing short of a masterclass in how to utterly ruin a franchise. Yeah, the reviews are terrible. This is The Witcher Blood Origin. Go out to Rotten Tomatoes. 38% now. It was 35 as of the time of writing this article. 8% audience score. Now, what's interesting is I am not seeing a lot of people saying that this is a bunch of toxic men. They're destroying this. I think a lot of people don't care about the show at all. They truly do not care about this show. They don't care about the franchise. They don't want to watch The Witcher without The Witcher. As of this writing, the prequel has an awful 35% critic score and a 9% audience score. Again, that's changed. Did the Rotten Tomatoes audience reviewers come with both guns blazing? A sampling. The acting is meh. The writing is atrocious. Wino, Witcher in name only. Again, this is like Tino and Gino, Transformers and Godzilla in name only. You can tell the writers have a real disdain for the source material. All I have to say is oof. if this is the caliber of writing we have to look forward to without Henry Cavill there to fight for remaining true to the source material, the main show is going to go downhill faster after Cavill is replaced by Liam Hemsworth in season 4. I got to tell you, I don't think it's a guarantee that they're going to get a season 4. We're going to talk about the damage control. Lauren Hisrich and friends going out there after it came out that there were problems in the writer's room. And of course, after Henry Cavill left and people were speculating that he left because of having major issues with the direction of the franchise. I don't know if it's guaranteed they're going to get a season 4. Netflix is pulling the plug on a lot of stuff. And if these shows don't wind up doing the numbers that they're expecting, then they're gone. It's so bad that I actually looked up who the writers were to remember not to ever watch anything from them again. 24 hours after the prequel's debut on the streaming giant, it had already shot to the very top of Netflix's top 10 TV shows. Okay, so you have to watch this. They actually said that they think this is hate watching. You really have to watch this because this is the takeaway from Masters of the Universe and some other shows that fans hate watched. Oh, look how popular it is. Netflix is going to give us another season because it's so popular, because everybody's watching the show to dunk on it to see how bad it is. When shows are terrible like this, and it's obvious that the people working on them absolutely hate the franchises, you know what you do? You don't watch them. You don't support them. You let it die on the vine. I never watched Star Trek Discovery. I watched 2 episodes of Picard, and I'm like, hell no. Hell no. I'm not watching this. This is not Star Trek. This is trying to be Blade Runner. I'm not interested. And you just have to kind of let it go. Rise of Skywalker. A lot of people didn't go see Rise of Skywalker, myself included, because I was so pissed off about The Last Jedi. And to this day, I still haven't seen it. Eventually, you walk away. It becomes easier and easier to walk away. A lot of people, when you make a show such a large part of your life, when you make a franchise such a large part of your life, there is a loss there. I mean, I mourned for the loss of Star Wars. I mourned for the loss of Doctor Who. To a lesser degree, Star Trek, but I was never, I like Star Trek, but I was never invested in Star Trek as much as Star Wars and Doctor Who. And you mourn and move on, and you realize that, these shows are never going to come back as they were. You might get good stuff here and there, but you have to remain kind of coolly detached, because that's the only way not to be disappointed, right? The team behind The Witcher Blood Origin include showrunner, executive producer Declan DeBarra and Lauren Hisrich from Netflix's Logline. They said it's set in an elven world 1,200 years before the world of Witcher. So is this just stuff they made up whole cloth like Amazon? I think it is. I think they just made this shit up. What's so unfortunate about the show, in my opinion, according to the writer, and why it might even be beyond saving at this point, is the way it's become something of a MacGuffin among the fans. It feels like the discourse around it isn't about the show itself. Everyone is caught up in talking about the show. The commentary is largely about things like the creative direction, the reason Henry is leaving, changes to the narrative, and insistence among some fans that the writer's room obviously despised the source material and so on. Well, this is interesting. On Reddit, the guy said, the whole thing is I didn't stop watching because they stopped following the books. I stopped watching because the show is boring. That's kind of what happened to me with Doctor Who. I stopped watching Doctor Who not because they made the Doctor a woman. I thought it was a weird decision, but I'm like, I'll give it a shot. It might be okay. But I stopped watching the show because it was boring and ham-fisted and preachy. I stopped enjoying it. When you stop enjoying it, there are a lot of shows and movies out there that actually deviate from the source material that are still enjoyable. They're still good in their own right. They might not be exact, 1-to-1 or whatever, but it's still okay. It's fine. I'm thinking the Ghibli version of Howl's Moving Castle. I'm thinking the movie version of Stardust. And that's perfectly acceptable. But these shows are not. They're not. They deviate. They try to rewrite the rules of the universe. They attack the fans. Things were so much easier before social media, when people would just put their product out and they wouldn't have to preemptively attack fans because they already knew what the fans were going to say. They know the fans are going to hate it. When they're working on it, they know the fans are going to hate it. So they already have the excuses lined up, the defense lined up. This is how we're going to counter this narrative. This is how we're going to do this. That's how we're going to do that. And it's a shitty marketing tactic, and it never ends well. It really doesn't end well. So, yeah, it's interesting now, though. Speaking of damage control, they were out there saying that Lauren Hisrich is fantastic to work for, and we all know what people are talking about. And the guy who was spreading those rumors was a disgruntled ex-employee, and yada yada yada. Now the new thing, according to Bounding in the Comics, is Lauren Hisrich is out there saying that season 3 is going to be fantastic. It's going to be a one-to-one adaptation of the books, the closest thing that they've done to it. She goes on to praise Henry Cavill, says Henry has given so much to the show. We want to honor that appropriately. What is so interesting is that season 3 is the closest thing we've done to a one-to-one adaptation of the books. Obviously, we can't do every page, but Time of Contempt gives us so many big action events, plot points, defining character moments, and huge reveals of a big bad. There's so much that we were able to stick really, really close to with the books. Again, after season 2, a lot of people aren't going to give you the chance. I don't believe her. I think Henry Cavill probably did leave because he wasn't being listened to. Of course, there are two sides to every story. He's supposed to be the star of the show. You wouldn't know it from season 2, but he's supposed to be the star of the show. And he had expectations for this show, and this is why he took the role. And those expectations were not met. And this show is dead on arrival. This is just an absolute shit show beyond anything I've seen. I would say that they've actually burned this to the ground faster than Disney burned Star Wars to the ground. There's not going to be anything left of The Witcher. It's actually going to probably hurt everything. It might hurt game sales going forward. It might hurt book sales going forward. If this is what people think The Witcher actually is, I've seen it before. I've seen other franchises do really, really bad adaptations, and then, the public interest in that franchise has waned because they're like, hey, the movies sucked, so the books probably suck, the games probably suck. We're not even going to give the other stuff a chance. It doesn't matter. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. This is very interesting to see. And Netflix, again, if you're listening, I doubt you are. But if you want to save this franchise, you probably need to get rid of everybody working on it currently and just start over again. I wouldn't even bother with a season 4 of The Witcher. Just wait a couple of years and do a reboot. Because at this point, it's effed up beyond belief. It's not going to go well. Fans are tuning out. They're angry, and you've lost. You've burnt money. Congratulations. You've just shoveled money into an oven, lit it on fire. Gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.